Hi, I'm Gary White for Central Kentucky Television. I'm here with Marion County School Superintendent Laura Schlosser for an update on what's going on with the Marion County school system. And I want to talk about first some good news, right? We had very good news with some test scores for the school district.
Absolutely. Our accountability scores came in, Gary, and our district is a distinguished progressing school district. So very, very pleased about that.
So how is that? What was it last year?
Last year we were distinguished, and so basically to get the progressing label, that means you actually have to raise your score. And we did that, and the reason we did that is because Marion County Public Schools also made history because all 4 elementary schools are proficient or higher. And that's never happened before.
So it's going in the right direction.
Absolutely it is. Glasscock Elementary, my closest elementary school here, they are actually proficient progressing the first time ever. Okay. Lebanon Elementary School is proficient progressing, and this is the second year. Last year was their first time ever. Calvary Elementary is distinguished, and West Marion is a school of distinction, which is distinguished as well. So all 4 elementary schools are really doing well when we talk about guaranteed viable curriculum, which means first grade is first grade. So regardless of where you send your child to school, we're studying the same standards. Okay. But just like within a school, each teacher may have a little bit of a different approach, but you know, we believe that if there are certain things kids need to know and be able to do, it should not matter what school that they attend.
Okay.
And our middle schools, Lebanon Middle School made progress. They didn't make that proficiency mark, but they're making progress, so I'm pleased about that. St. Charles, for the first time ever, they are distinguished, and they are a school of distinction, which is one of the highest honors you can get. And then our high school did slip a little, and they are at the mark, which is proficient. Still lots to be proud of. Great college and career readiness scores, highest ACT scores we've ever had in the history. So still a lot of good things going on, but just kind of, you know, sometimes as you climb the mountain, you kind of stumble a little bit, but I have no doubt we'll keep climbing the mountain. So.
Now, last year I know we did an interview with the Calvary's principal because they were in the top, what was it, like 10 or 20, really high up there.
Yes.
Did they maintain
Yes,
that?
They did. That's the thing about this school of distinction. It can be just as simple as the rules of the game changed, Gary, and you know, I know if you don't live in school world, that sounds like, oh, you know, you're just saying that. No, really, the rules of the game's changed. You know, if we were talking about it's getting close to basketball season, it's basically like they said, okay, here's the 3-point line. They moved it back a little bit further. So when you do that, you can still make the exact same amount of progress, but again, the rules of the game's changed. So both Calvary and West Marion are in the top. They're one of the top elementary schools in the state. So I mean, I think it's something Marion County should be very proud of.
Absolutely, and history making.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, so that was some of the good news going on. You also had some good news that you received a grant,
yes,
correct?
We did. Our preschool program is partnering. When we talk about universal preschool, that's not Marion County Public Schools, that's all of the preschools in the community, private and parochial. So we have partnered with Loretta Child Care, St. A, Lebanon Head Start, Kids Place, Cornerstone, and Marion County Public Schools, and together we wrote a grant, and we're going to receive around $122,000, and we're going to use that for social skills for our kids. When we talk about kids being kindergarten ready, it's not always about can they spell their name or do they know their numbers and letters. Not that that's not important, but also getting prepared for kindergarten is also just that social aspect. So together we partnered, we received the grant, so that's money we can use to make sure more kids are ready for kindergarten, and you know, I couldn't be happier.
And you're saying that for the preschool, does every child have the access to that in Marion County?
For preschool?
Yeah.
In some, I mean, everybody has access. There's different levels of access. Some people elect to do private or parochial. There are some kids that attend free based on their poverty level.
Right.
Okay. or their parents' income. And then there are some kids that just elect to stay home, like with a grandparent or a babysitter. It's up to each individual family, but we have a lot of centers out there. So it just depends on the family situation.
Okay. Now, also, we had talked before, there's a building over on the Lebanon Elementary School campus.
Yes.
That there's been some discussion about with its historical relevance and all that kind of stuff. There was a meeting recently about that. What's the status on that building?
Currently, we have a committee that has been formed just to look at the Ray House. We have, I think they have actually had 2 meetings. What Mr. Cecil shared at the board meeting on Thursday was that they had done a tour. They were looking at it, looking at how old the building was. He's thinking around 150 years old, just looking at different kinds of options. Once the committee makes a recommendation, then that committee would actually take that to our district facilities planning committee meeting, because that building is actually a part of that. So I think they're just still looking at what the different options would be for that, for that building, and that piece of property.
Yes. Now, also, I know the Marion County School System took part in the This is Marion County segment of the Ham Days, which is something new that they offered at Marion County Country Ham Days this year. How'd that go?
It did. It went really well. We were a part of This is Marion County. We had our Dream Bus, which is different than before. We actually rode the parade. I don't know if you got to see that. So most people smile when they see the Dream Bus, but we parked the Dream Bus. And one of the things that we did was we gave away books, and we gave away age-appropriate books to kids. And we did have some folks say, well, you know, do you want a donation? And basically our message is all we want you to do is read with your child 20 minutes a day. So we gave away a lot of Halloween books, and we've also been asked to be a part of the Loretto Christmas Parade. So we're going to take the Dream Bus down there and do that. So I thought it was a big success. We made a lot of contacts. And another thing that we did through the Dream Bus was just to make sure that we have a good mailing list of all of our children in the county from birth to 4 years old. And we have about 400 of those kiddos on our mailing list, and we mailed home over 400 early childhood newsletters, which is basically just tips. And I do want to slide in another thing about our early childhood is we received a Born Learning grant last year through the Toyota program. I think we talked about that earlier at the beginning of this year, but late in our last school year. But last week we had over 140 parents attend this meeting, and it's probably a record for actually having that kind of meeting. But again, that's just about talking with parents and families about what they can do to make sure that their child comes to school ready for kindergarten.
Fantastic. So as we're recording this, it is mid-October, although the weather outside doesn't necessarily feel that way, but it does mean we're getting closer potentially to some more cooler weather.
Absolutely.
And some issues there. And we did talk, you are possibly going to take part in, or have the opportunity to take part in the special program for kids to do their work from home.
Marion County Public Schools was selected for the non-traditional instructional school days, and we're very pleased. Not all counties or independent districts that applied were selected, but we were selected. So we are currently working on either our packets that will go home, or for the high school's case, it shouldn't be an issue because all of our kids have a Chromebook. So we're really hoping for good weather, but it is Kentucky, and we would anticipate that we will have some bad weather, and we do have that opportunity. So I'm very pleased with that. But we're working on that, and it won't be long before we send those home, and we'll let parents know. I'm sure we'll do another webcast, and we'll talk about the different options. So
and also talking about the Chromebooks, you have more students, more Chromebooks in the hands of students now, right?
We do. Like we've said before, we have about 950 kids at the high school that have an actual Chromebook. We are purchasing additional carts of Chromebooks. So in other words, if a child's in class, the teacher would have a cart of 30. They can pull the Chromebook out and they can use that. So in our district right now, we have around 2,000 Chromebooks, Gary, and we have 3,300 students. So I'm really pleased because technology, it's not going away.
Yes. And is that something that they can take off campus as well and take home to utilize, or is it strictly used on the school property?
I don't want to speak out of turn. I'm not sure how our schools at the middle school and elementary schools are doing that. Traditionally, it's just been, it's at the school and that's it. But at the high school, they can take those home. They are for their personal use every single day.
Because technology is here to stay.
It is here to stay.
Well, again, I've been talking with Laura Schlosser, who is the Marion County School Superintendent. This has been Gary White for Central Kentucky Television.
Thank you.